Financial maths with the aspect of net VAT and gross value. So let's have a look. A farmer bought some livestock for €4,716, including VAT. The cost of the livestock was 4,500, excluding VAT. Calculate the percentage VAT. A lot of information, isn't it? And if we kind of not dealing with stuff like that in everyday life, and usually in sixth year we don't, or fifth year, so how do we do that? Well, we have to understand what those values is and what VAT and net and gross and all of that is. Okay, there are two ways of looking at that. Net value, that is a value without VAT. And VAT is a form of tax. Then to that, we will add up net value multiply by percentage of VAT. That will be actual VAT value. And then together, when we add those two values together, we're going to get gross value, meaning including or with VAT. Yeah, depending what kind of vocabulary is used in a particular year, in a particular question, but that's the main idea. Now, the other way to look at it that we have to really understand is that net value, that is equal to 100%. That is our starting point. We are starting with net value. Then we have VAT, so that will be all in euro. And then on this side, we have percentage. Now, VAT rate, I'm just going to put VAT percent. Why? Because that percentage here can be different. It's not steady. Could be 23, could be 9, 13 and a half. Can be a lot of difference. So I'm leaving that because that will change depending on particular question. And then we're going to have the gross value. So that value together with the VAT, together with the tax, that's the value we pay at a checkout. Okay. And that will be my 100% plus the VAT percent. Yeah, and again, I cannot put number here because it will vary every time. Okay, so how do we solve this type of question? I'm a big believer in a conversion method because it has so many applications, and it is one part of math that is applicable in everyday life actually. So how does it work? I just have to make sure I compare like with like. So what am I looking for? In this case, I have, let me use color. Here we can either go with this value or this value. Actually doesn't matter. Both of them will give us answer. If I'm going with this value, 4,716, that's what we have on one side of the equation. That is value including VAT. So this is where we should put our percentage here. What's the problem that I am having here? That I don't actually know what is the exact percentage. Then I'm saying to myself, okay, how about I look at it from the point of net value. So I'm saying, okay, let's look at it again. So 4,500, that equals 100%. I am looking for what? I am looking for VAT percent, isn't it? That's what I'm looking for. So what do I know about euro? About the VAT euro. How much is the VAT? Well, the difference between them, that's the value of VAT, isn't it? So if I put in my calculator 4,716 and I remove from that 4,500, then I will find that the VAT euro was 216. So there it is. I can now convert it because I am comparing like with like. How do we solve it? We multiply that across or cross multiply it. From which part you start doesn't matter. So let's say 216 multiply by 100, and that will equal 4,500 multiply, we can put X, we can put A, we can put VAT. Because actually it doesn't matter what you have there. This is what you are looking for. Okay, what am I looking for? VAT percentage, not VAT percentage multiplied by 4,500. How do I get rid of that 4,500? I divide. And I divide both sides of the equation. Always multiplication, we divide. Yeah, if you have a multiplication, you divide. Why? Because 4,500 divided by 4.5 equal 1 multiplied by VAT rate gives me VAT rate. Then I take all of that, I put that in my calculator, I press equal, and I get that 4.8. That is my VAT rate. And that's how we solve that using conversion. Very useful method. Again, good for the 6th year, good for the 5th year, because as well you have those calculations there.